Hi, teammates. Welcome to the Live Well podcast, the podcast that connects you to all the topics to meet you along your well-being journey. I'm one of your hosts, Jen Collings.
I'm Cindy Patterson.
And I'm Seth Christopher. Welcome to the Well.
Good morning. It's another episode of The Well. Seth, we are well into July. Oh, did you like that pun? The Well. We are well into July. So it's time to get started on our topic today, and it's another financial topic. We have Cindy with us. Seth, how are things going with you? And then we'll bring in Cindy.
Things are going great. Chugging along, doing well. No pun intended there on my end. So really looking forward to today's conversation as always. Cindy, welcome back to the Well.
I'm glad to be here.
What are we talking about today? What is our topic for our teammates under financial health today? Cindy.
Today we are going to talk about summer vacation.
Oh, good. So we're going to talk about where to go, what to do, how to have the best one. Is that what you mean?
Well, not quite, but we're going to talk about planning so all those things can happen.
Ah, okay. All right. So vacation spending is our topic today. Seth, you ready to give us some fast facts? And let's just jump right in. This is a quite timely topic.
Yeah, it's hot. People are ready to get out and about, really start traveling and see some places. So let's dive in here. Fast fact. Summer vacations can be expensive. It's estimated that the average summer vacation can cost anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000. And I know what you all are thinking. We live here in the Carolinas. I've got the mountains 2 hours to the west. I've got the oceans 3 hours to the east. There's no way I'm spending that here, right? Well, actually traveling in the Carolinas is no different. The average price per person per day to vacation in North Carolina is $148, which is roughly $1,000 for a 7-day vacation for one. The average price per person per day to vacation in South Carolina is $167. Now that's almost $1,200 for 7 days for one person. Fast fact. Many people return from vacation with much more than just memories of a good time. They return with a lot of debt. A 2019 Credit Karma survey found that 42% of Americans have gone into debt to fund a summer vacation. 20% of the participants in the survey actually indicated they've accumulated anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 in debt for their summer travel alone. Now, Credit Karma actually gives a really good example here. So let's assume that you put $3,000 on a credit card just for summer travel. If you take a year to pay that off, you could have an additional $1,000 in interest added to that vacation. Said another way, putting summer travel on a credit card could leave you paying a grand total of $4,000 for a $3,000 vacation.
Your facts are completely staggering. I have to be honest. As I get ready for my own family vacation that's going to be at the end of next week, I'm starting to have a little bit of heart palpitations thinking about this.
I think we can help you, Jennifer. It is something that I think we don't really realize we're doing. But the thing is, if you do put some money on a credit card, and like Seth said, you end up paying interest on that. So $4,000 for a $3,000 vacation. By the time you get it paid off, you want to take another vacation. So you never get out of the vicious cycle. I think that a lot of us don't include vacation spending in our budget because we don't consider that a necessity like rent or mortgage or a car payment. But we need to include that as a line item because it's important. And goodness knows it's never been more important than it, now after we've come out of everything we've dealt with COVID. So It's okay to budget for some downtime for yourself and your family.
Being able to vacation and budget is really important. So let's really dig in here. Let's dive into the well and let's talk a little bit more about what it is to save and to have a plan for vacation spending.
Okay, so here's what I would do, and if you've not normally budgeted for a vacation, then go ahead and start with this year and incorporate that into your normal planning. The first thing you want to do is set a spending goal. So we have some real good guidelines from USEF about what a vacation costs. These are amounts that we can kind of start aiming for, knowing that, you know, first time we do it, we may go over a little bit or fall under a little bit, but kind of have to start somewhere and see how it plays out. What I would say is start with an amount that you're comfortable with, that won't cause you to go into debt. And as tempting as it might be to pull out the credit card and, you know, pay for that extra night, it's not really going to be worth it by the time you end up having to pay all that interest off. So try as hard as you can not to do that. You really want to start with the bigger ticket items, and depending on where you're going, you know, it could be a lot of money. So if you're going to fly somewhere, you're looking at airfare. Once we get there, we've got the hotel, whatever kind of lodging we're going to have. You may have a rental car, whether you're flying or just driving somewhere, you know, further away that you don't want to take your own car for, or maybe you need a bigger car to take the whole family. And as you're thinking about the big ticket items, shop around and spend some time on travel sites. There are so many out there nowadays that it's easy to find good resources, and you can compare prices, you can look for deals, you can adjust your dates and see how that might impact the cost. And don't forget any kind of discounts that you might be entitled to. Like if you've been in the military, you might get a discount. If you have AAA, you get a discount on your hotel. Anything like that is worth trying and applying as you're making your plans.
And I think it's really important too, you know, as we're talking through some of the nuances, the small things that add up to really build this budget for 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 2 weeks, whatever you have in mind for your vacation during the summer. Sometimes we all just say, yep, we're going to the beach, we're going to figure it out, we're going to make it happen. And we don't really know what it costs us until we come back and we're like, where'd all my money go?
Yeah, exactly.
Surprise.
Yeah, exactly. So when you take the time, and you know, my rule is don't overwhelm yourself. Sit down for 15 minutes and think about it so it doesn't become a chore, but just take the time to jot down on a notepad, this is what I know I'm going to spend. Then come to those smaller items like, well, what kind of activities do you want to do with your family? Are you going to go to a water park? Are you going to take the kids to the zoo? You know, what kind of tickets are you going to need to buy for these things? And then incorporate your food budget. So are you going to be in a situation where you can cook some of your meals, or are you going to have to eat out? Can you take things with you? That sort of thing. And then, you know, you're going to want to buy some stuff when you're there, whether it's a t-shirt, souvenirs, gifts for people back home. You know, I have this thing where I like to buy a Christmas tree ornament when I go somewhere cool. So, you know, that's only $10, but if everybody in your family wants to do something like that, it's going to add up. So think about that too. Also, there are always some odd things that might pop up. So as you're shopping online and looking for your lodging, check out the extras that the hotel might cost. I know I used to travel for my job before Atrium, and I would go to hotels in big cities that would charge you for parking in their parking lot. Are you going to have to pay $10 a day for that? Do you need to have a pet sitter? So how much is that going to cost? Do you need to prepare ahead of time to provide them with their food and the things like that all go into the overall budget?
And some really good thoughts there. I mean, the pets definitely is an extra expense a lot of folks don't think about, that pops up. But staying at a hotel, sometimes you have continental breakfast comped, like it's there.
Yes.
So that could potentially be a way of saying, well, I'm mitigating some cost here. I might not be spending as much as, say, I might be at an Airbnb where it might be a little bit less than the hotel, but you're kind of offsetting that with that breakfast cost. And then thinking about what you said too, eating out. I mean, there's probably some really smart ways people could manage around food, because a lot of times on vacations, we're all on the go. So we think that I got to go by popular restaurant Calabash. Let me go get my seafood here, or plug in steak and surf and turf, or if you're into that kind of thing. There are certain places I know families really like to routinely visit. That's part of the vacation, right? Having that nostalgia around it. But
absolutely. Yeah, my mom and I do that. Like, there are places that we like to eat at on vacation every year when we go to the beach. So that's cool. But what we do is we talk about it before we leave. And if you're traveling with friends or extended family, I highly recommend that. Just set your expectations so that everybody's good and they're able to do what they want to do, but you understand that you're not going to go crazy spending wise. I actually was on vacation last week, and I went with a friend whose daughter just graduated from high school and wanted to go down to the beach with her classmates. So we were loosely chaperoning that trip, but we had a lot of time on our own. And so we talked about it, because I know her daughter's going to college. They're not in a position where they're going to want to eat out 3 meals a day. And honestly, neither am I. So we went to Costco before we left. We took food for breakfast and lunch, and then we ate out dinner, and we went to get ice cream every night. But that's what we wanted to do, and we were all on the same page ahead of time, and everybody was happy with it, and they got what they wanted. So just talk about it.
The ice cream's the best part, I think.
It was. But there are other things that you can think about. So, ice cream for us was kind of our relaxation. But if yours is sitting on a porch looking at the beach having a glass of wine, BYOB, go to Total Wine and get it here and take it with you, so that you're not paying crazy prices at a restaurant for something.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
So this is all great stuff. I'm sitting here listening, totally blown away. I just have to be honest. Like, if I'm a teammate that's feeling the same, listening, what are some resources that can help me get started? Because if it's July, it's vacation time already. I'm sure that our teammates have things already planned. So what are some resources that can help them be successful quickly?
There's tons. So I'm sure you saw this too, Seth, when you were reading about this subject, but lots and lots of websites have budgeting sheets or forms that you can fill out if you want to do a paper budget. I found them on a website called budgetyourtrip.com. You can go there. That was really cool. Credit Karma is good. They've got resources for all kinds of spending. If you just Google vacation budget, you'll find an option that suits you. And as we were talking about budgeting in an earlier podcast, I said that you need to do a budget in a way that works for your lifestyle. So if using a paper budget isn't something that you want to do, then use an app on your phone to do it. There's so many different options, and the one that works is the one that you're going to be motivated to do.
Great point. I think having the tools and resources and the process or the planning in place is such a big asset to teammates that are getting ready to go on vacation or are thinking about going on vacation now that we're almost in the heart of summer. But I love the conversation around having open dialogue with people you're traveling with, because a lot of times people will kind of reduce the costs of their travel by going with friends or additional family members, but haven't set that expectation up front with how they're going to manage a budget or expenses throughout the day. So that was an excellent perspective and excellent point that you provided for us, Cindy.
Yeah, and don't ever be afraid to say something's not in your budget. It's okay to tell people I have a set amount of money that I'm allowing myself to spend every day, and that's where I need to stay. And if they want to go somewhere that you don't want to go, then that's cool. You just talk about it ahead of time.
And given that we are in full-blown summer, we are coming out of a very hectic year and a half. People are ready to get out. They're ready to see the ocean. They're ready to see the mountains. They're ready to be around people. And sometimes that excitement and that enthusiasm can put you in a position where you kind of outkick your coverage, you outstep your budget because you're just, YOLO, you only live once, right?
Yes. And I know we all feel like that right now. It's a normal sort of way to feel after the past couple of years. It's like we're ready to get back into life for sure. So if you haven't budgeted this year, then my recommendation would be, again, be reasonable with your spending. Try not to put anything on a credit card, and then reflect when you get home and make yourself a list for next year. So I'm old school. I use a paper calendar. I go into 2022 in February or March, and I make notes for things I want to think about next year. But you can use your phone. Again, if that's the way you operate, then make notes for yourself on your phone so that we don't forget. And then every year we're starting over, and we get into that vicious cycle of paying off that credit card and then turning around and putting more expenses right back on it.
Cindy, I have to be honest, you're my inspiration. Like, I love when everything that you say and how you plan and how you put this as real in your own life. I just find that as a goal for me. As we wrap up this conversation, I just kind of wanted to take a minute. There's a common theme when we have you here with us on the Well. Every time we talk about finances, the thing that seems to pop out to me the most is planning. No matter what, it's all comes down to planning. And is that right?
It absolutely is. And, I just can't describe for you how good you feel when you've planned for something like vacation or whatever. And another example was I just had to buy tires for my car. And because I had planned ahead for it and had the money, I wasn't stressed about it at all. I went to the tire store, did what I needed to do, came home, and did not worry about it. It's just the most, freeing feeling to not have added stress because of a big expense. So planning is everything, and it's never too late to start.
It's never too late to start. Great conversation. Hopefully teammates can pull a lot out of this. Because we're going through so many details here, let's recap quickly. What exactly did we learn today?
Today, we had such a great, timely discussion about vacation spending. Who knew there was so much information to talk about with this subject? I thought it was going to be pretty simple, but vacations are expensive. I guess we know that, but we really talked about how to make that real. The key we learned today is all about the planning. Everything from transportation to your spending money. It's good to have these conversations before you take your trip, and then plan to make sure how much money you want to spend. Another thing we learned is setting those daily spending limits. I really just love that. I think that's a little bit outside of the box, so I love that. It's also important to budget your trips out throughout the year. Lastly, we're going to post all the resources that Cindy mentioned today in the comments. If they're not listed on here on our reference page, we will add those to the comments.
Cindy, a lot of great tips for our teammates today. If there's one takeaway when it comes to planning, spending on a summer vacation, what is it that you would give teammates?
I would say go ahead and add it as a line item into your budget, and realize that we can plan for things that we might consider to not be a necessity, but it's good for us. So include it. We need that downtime, especially after everything we've been through.
Our next podcast will be airing July 15th, and we're going to be talking about doing a mid-year check-in. July is a great time to check on your goals, anything that you set at the beginning of the year. If you didn't set goals, now is a great time to start, and we're going to have that discussion next week.
And teammates, don't forget to visit the Live Well website for more info on managing financial well-being, personal well-being, physical well-being, and also don't forget to check out the new The Well site located there on the Live Well website.
resources are listed at the end of the show, and we'll add links to the programs discussed today in the comments on our Streams channel.
Looking for more things Live Well? Not following our Streams channel yet? Search The Well on Streams in Office 365 or find us on the Live Well website to access all our content.
Thanks for listening to The Well today,
Stay safe.
and live well.